Welcome everybody to the new Custom House Square. This has been a long time in coming, and it's a terrific day. And I just have a few remarks, and then I wanted to invite up a few speakers who played a big part in this event and this new public space. Not just for our generation, but the next. 18 months ago, in my first State of the City address, I called for the conversion of Custom House Square into an urban park. Back then, I asked people to embrace the idea of a welcoming public space in the center of our downtown business district, much like Post Office Square in Boston or Washington Square Park in New York. I made this park a priority because I strongly believe that any great city has a great downtown, and any great downtown has a great public gathering space. In the months since then and the years since then, I've only become more convinced that Custom House Square will be an excellent and truly memorable part of our downtown transformation, what will enable us to take our downtown from good to great. The goal has been clear and simple all along. Give New Bedford what it has always been missing in its downtown, a green space where everybody can come together. The idea was to create an outdoor magnet for office workers, for city employees, for tourists, and for residents to come and just enjoy the fresh air and look around and take in all the scenery. But at the same time, we all knew that not just any park would do. It would have been easy to rip up the parking lot here and to throw it all out, throw down some loam, spread some seed, stick a few trees in the ground, and call it a park. And if we had done that, it would have served its functional purpose. It would have been a green space. But that wouldn't have been good enough for New Bedford. The city's vitality is built on many pillars, but one of them certainly is the quality of its public spaces. The beauty of a public space offers opportunities for shared enjoyment that bring people together. Think about where each of you goes when you have an out-of-town visitor, a friend or a family member comes to town. Where do you go? Do you go to a strip mall? Do you go to a fast food restaurant? No, in all likelihood, you go to a place you think they will enjoy and that you will enjoy along with them. You go to places like our cobblestone streets and the Jacobs Gallery, and the neighborhoods that have Whaling-era homes, including the downtown. And that's because those are beautiful places. And that's what cities offer more than any other place, especially more than the suburbs. It's beautiful spaces that people like to be in. And if we can do that well as a city, then we'll be able to attract people to live here, to have fun here, and to invest here. And that's the whole idea behind this. We had to have a high standard here, and that's what we did. That's what we executed on. Because New Bedford deserves it. It deserves more than just green. It deserves something like we have here, which frankly is a work of art. So with all that, with that goal in mind, we made our case, and we picked up a strong contingent of folks who bought into the idea. People like Jen NERSESIAN at the National Park and Jeff Pontiff, who is the commercial real estate broker for many important properties in our downtown. We built a consensus. But most of all, the thing that brought it all together was the willingness of my long-term friend, Chris Reed, a New Bedford native and one of the nation's foremost landscape design architects, to say yes to this project. We as a city, we are not flush with cash, and we frankly can't afford someone like Chris Reed. But Chris Reed did one for the team. He did one for his hometown. He said, we will do it. I will do it for free. I want to have an impact on our hometown, and frankly, this space right here was a space was a place where I'd always thought of having some kind of park, some kind of green space, and especially because of its central role right here in our city, in our urban core. The other thing to know about Chris is that he is a very busy guy. He's worked on things like the Clinton Library and has worked in places like Dubai and creating great public spaces all over the world. And we're very proud, Chris, to have you, a native son, come back to your hometown and create what we hope is an iconic public space. So I want to thank you, along with your colleague Eric Prince from STOSS Design, for all the work you did here and having the patience to work with me most of all, but more to the point, for really bringing your creative talents back to your hometown. The second phone call I made after Chris was to Secretary Rick Sullivan, the Executive Secretary of the Office of Environmental and Energy Affairs in the Patrick administration. And Secretary Sullivan couldn't be here today. He was here for the groundbreaking a few months ago. We have a tremendous supporter in Rick Sullivan and his office. The $300,000 that it cost to build this park was almost all state money, and without it we couldn't have done it. And so I really want to thank Secretary Sullivan for his support, and generally the Patrick administration for their support, not only of this park but also parks throughout the state. They understand that urban areas thrive when they have great public spaces. After several months of dreaming, visioning, drawing, and listening, we had arrived at a creative, thoughtful design that worked for everyone. So one hopeful day last April, shovels broke the ground here. What followed were several more months of hot weather, of rainy weather, often messy weather, and time-consuming labor. But it all came in according to design, under budget, and on time. So today we're celebrating a new place and a new era for our downtown, but I have many thanks to give to many folks here. I want to thank those who actually did the work. And it's all too often that public officials will get up and talk about the deeds that they did when they actually didn't lift a shovel. Certainly it took political will and collaboration among the folks you see here and among many of the folks in the crowd that you'll see, both the ones I'll name and the ones that I can't possibly name. But it also took tremendous hard work from our city employees and from others. So let me start first of all by thanking the team at CDM Smith, Kim Drake and Nick Watkins, who were tremendous partners in translating what Chris had in mind right down to the shovel. Right, the engineers and the designers at CDM Smith, and Kim Drake's right there, did a tremendous job applying Chris's great ideas and making them real. Second, we had a tremendous team of city project managers who kept it all on track. There are many to name, but first and foremost among them is City Planner Jill McLean, who worked tirelessly on this project, and again, more than anybody else, had to tolerate an intemperate boss. Right, Jill? In addition, Preservation Planner Ann Lauro, City Parks Director Mary Raposa, Christina Connolly and Neil Mello from my office, and Infrastructure Commissioner Ron LaBelle, Facilities Director Ken Blanchard did tremendous work in making it all happen here. Third, the people should know that this grass is this green and this healthy because of, in large part because of the volunteer work of Bruce Delano at Delano Landscaping. Bruce did a tremendous job stepping forward for the city, offering his services in kind. Delano Landscaping and Bruce Delano really know what they're doing when it comes to landscaping. And far be it from us to turn down the opportunity to get his level of expertise to make this park look as beautiful as it does. And Bruce, thank you so much. I know you're here somewhere in the crowd, but I really want to say thanks for pitching in. Finally, and most of all, I want to thank the city workers in both the Department of Public Infrastructure and the Department of Facilities and Fleet Management, who took on the toughest part of their job, of this job. They sweated it out over a long summer. Ron LaBelle will tell you I was down here almost every other day, not nitpicking, but keeping a close eye on things, right, Ron? And they all did it with tremendous pride and attention to detail. And this is something that people should focus on. It's very easy in our day and age for folks to, to write off public employees as being overpaid and not working hard enough. It's not the case here in New Bedford, and it's not the case in DPI or DFFM. We have hardworking people, very talented people who care deeply about the city and take tremendous pride in the little details. And that's what's going to make this space a success and make all the other things those departments do a success, because they care, and they care every day, and they bring that care to all the work they do. So at the risk of boring everybody, I'm going to name every one of them because they deserve to be publicly named. So a special thanks and a special salute to the following men and women who worked very hard on this project. Joan Pimentel, Craig McGuire, Jan Rodzinski, Peter Gallant, Wayne Cardoza, Joe Costa, Eric Margulies, Joe Borges, David Hiberty, Stephanie Dupre, Jonathan Gorman, Danny Perry, Joe Brune, Jerry Angelini, Ed Reese, Mark Medeiros, Mike Langis, Kevin Cardoza, Bob Souza, Fernando Condi, Horace Medeiros, Bob Vicente, Cliff Lorenzo, Matt Pepin, Alphonse Coca, Richie Correa, Bill Days, John Oliver, Richie Correa again, Joe Brune, Rui Martins, John Oliveira, Lee Bentley, and Kevin Lynch. And I wanted to single out in particular Ronnie Aguiar, who did a thorough, consistent, caring job as foreman on this site. And Ronnie, I really appreciate the work you did here. You really made the city proud, and your pride in the city is certainly reflected in this project. So I really want to thank all of you. Those guys deserve tremendous gratitude for all of their hard work throughout the summer. They will be able to tell their kids and their grandchildren that they did this here, and their grandchildren are going to be able to say thank you to them years from now. I also, we have a speaking program here that will include Chris Reed and Jen NERSESIAN, Jeff Pontiff, and Lee Hild, and the elected officials here. So without any further ado, let me bring up my friend Chris Reed, designer extraordinaire who has now left his mark on his hometown.
Hello, thanks, Mayor Mitchell. It's a thrill to be here with all of you. As you know, parks are really the heart and soul of a city. And to be a part of making this new place for a city I love so much has been really great. It's been a treat. He didn't have to twist my arm at all when he called. I was happy to participate. Just a couple words of thanks. I want to thank the mayor for getting me involved. It's been a great process. I want to thank his leadership team. I want to thank these guys too. I met some of the folks tonight who spent time building this place, and I've got to say, I've never seen such a dedicated group of people on the ground, working for a city, working for the future generations of a city. So thank you as well. Thanks to the CDM Smith team, who are great collaborators with us. And on a personal note, it's a special treat for me to have my parents here tonight, standing over there. I don't do that much work in New England, and so they don't get opportunities like this to celebrate with me the opening of a new space. So I just want to take the time to thank them. Without them, clearly I wouldn't be here. So thanks. For all of you, enjoy this new space. It's really meant to be sometimes your outdoor living room, sometimes like tonight, a great place for people to come together and celebrate being here. Thanks so much and enjoy. Thank you.
Next, I would like to call our superintendent of the New Bedford-Wheeling National Historical Park up here, Jen NERSESIAN. And Jen, you've been here for a while now. You're leaving us. I think that's public. I just let the cat out of the bag. Sorry. But Jen, I just wanted to use this occasion to really thank you for all your time here in New Bedford and really growing the park in terms of its stature as well as its appeal and its educational connections to the community. And you're going to be sorely missed, but you know, we appreciate your tremendous support in this project, both from a design standpoint as well as getting the park service behind it. And we couldn't have done it without you, and I just love to hear a couple of words from you.
So we're sort of in a park within a park here, a city park within a national park. And a national park is a place for inspiration, for reflection, and connection with our history, our environment, with all that's unique and great about us as the American people. Unlike a movie or a video game or a Facebook page, here you have the chance to have a personal, first-hand experience, to experience things with your own five senses, smelling the salt air, feeling the cobblestones underneath your feet, seeing the same buildings that Herman Melville and Frederick Douglass once saw as they strolled the same streets. Now, in an urban national park, we have the additional layer of not only being a special destination to the public at large, but also being in a community and being part of a community. And that's why having this new green space in the middle of our national park is so important. It gives both our residents and our visitors from afar that space to reflect, to connect with their thoughts, with their surroundings, and with each other. And it gives us that first-hand sensory experience with a bit of the natural world, the need for which is so deeply embedded in the human psyche, and so important to the good health of our community. As individuals, it's about our physical health, and our mental and spiritual health too. And on a collective basis, it's an important economic catalyst and a place that helps strengthen our social fabric by providing a new gathering space for us to come together as a community. And so today I'd like to say congratulations to the mayor and his team for their vision and all their hard work in bringing this transformation to the heart of our downtown and our national park. I'll see you in the park.
Next, I wanted to have Jeff Pontiff speak today. Jeff has been a leader in our downtown. He's got an interest here not only professionally as a commercial real estate broker, but he is all about the downtown. And Jeff, you know, we really appreciate all of your support on this project. It meant a lot.
Thanks very much, Mr. Mayor. Most of you know me. You see my signs pretty much downtown here, and I'm very involved. We've also got a boat business. Anytime you want to take a harbor tour, you're welcome to do that too. But when the mayor asked me to say a couple of words, it forced me to go back and think about my arrival here in New Bedford back in 1999 and what this space actually has meant to me. When I arrived here, this was the Kerwin Garage, and it was under a very controversial tear down by Mayor Kalis, and every third building on Union Street was boarded up. There was no Star store. They were just finishing up the Compass Bank. There was no Problemo, no Cafe Arpeggio, no Cork, no BCC. And I've watched our downtown grow, and so there went the Kerwin Garage, and we had a nice parking lot and nice park here. And downtown New Bedford took the advantage of creating some great festivals here, which now we've almost outgrown here, and now down on the waterfront, which is our next frontier, I think, in New Bedford. And for what this has meant for me is it's become the pinnacle of where we're going with our downtown. This is a work of art, and you know, I'm involved in most of these buildings around here. I'm actually meeting with a developer that's done a lot of work in New Bedford to talk about that block right over there tomorrow. And what a great impetus this is, and it's a great inspiration for me to try to drive this downtown to another level. So thanks very much. And all I would say is also to Ron LaBelle and Ken Blanchard, I'm going to a New Bedford taxpayer. And I got to tell you, I've watched you do Route 18 outside my office window. I've watched you do Wings Court, and I watched you do this. And I'll tell you, we get our money's worth from those people. Thanks.
Thank you, Jeff. As I said, this park was built largely with state money, and that just doesn't come automatically. Any state money has to be appropriated by the legislature, and that means that legislators have to stand behind it. And we are lucky to have a delegation from our city that understands the importance of great public spaces and public parks in particular, and have supported things like the Urban Parks Program and the Park Program at the state level. And so I would ask both Representatives Tony Cabral and Paul Schmidt to say a few words tonight, and we really appreciate your support for great public space, great public urban spaces, especially here in New Bedford. Tony?
Good afternoon. It's wonderful to be here as well and participate in the reopening of this wonderful Custom House Square. As a green space, as an urban park, I'm a big fan of green spaces, trees. I think we need more of that downtown. Many years ago, before the terminal was built next to City Hall, there was a parking lot as well, and I always thought, that's a wonderful space for green. Some trees, some benches, and they built the terminal. The terminal actually was supposed to have been built someplace else, almost across the street from the post office, and for those of you who remember. Now you have Bank of America and a few other things there, and again a parking lot next to Bank of America. I don't think that's the best use of space downtown. But as the mayor said, that call that he made to Secretary Sullivan, and he was so delighted to be helpful, doesn't come without a lot of hard work on the part of the legislature, my colleagues in New Bedford, and I might say Senator Montigny is a great partner on the Senate side, and he called me actually today, and I make sure I don't forget that the Senate is in session as we speak. He actually has a bill before during the debate today, and he was not able to be here, so he would love to be here as well to celebrate this occasion, and I wanted to tell you that he's been a wonderful partner, and without him on the Senate side, many of these things, many of these funds would not be able as well to be accomplished, even though some of them start in the House, most of them do start in the House, but without a good partner on the Senate side would not be possible. So I want to say thank you also to Senator Montigny for that. But that check comes from a fund called the Gateway Cities Parks Fund, and that's a fund that we have worked very hard to make sure the money not only is enough money for Secretary Sullivan and whoever takes his place or whoever was there before him can make the kinds of decisions that he made when the mayor called and said and made his plea for a project in New Bedford. So we worked very hard to keep that fund a healthy one to precisely do these sort of projects, not huge projects, but sort of small, but at the same time to have a tremendous impact in the city. The Wings Court across from here was also a check from state money from that same fund. So I think Secretary Sullivan, the legislature, myself, and my colleagues, and Senator Montigny, we have a track record to make sure that we all work together, that we know, I understand, Senator Montigny understand, my colleagues on the House understand, that the state has to be a partner, and sometimes the only partner for these kinds of projects to take place and to happen in the city. And that's the reason why we go up to Boston every day, make sure we get our fair share back to the city and back to make places like this happen. Let me thank Chris Reed for your in-kind contribution. It's wonderful to see folks from New Bedford getting involved and really have the kind of passion that they have, that they will provide their services free of charge. And let me tell you, it's quite a gift because it's not cheap to hire someone like Chris. So Chris, thanks very much for that wonderful participation, because it saves both the city and the state some money. But also, when we enjoy the park, we'll remember you. We'll remember you. Thank you very much. Let me thank Ron LaBelle and his whole entire crew. They've become, as part of the city, a tremendous partner in a lot of the projects that the state has funded. From this project to the Wings Court, to the International Marketplace, to the area around Market Basket, and the list goes on, just to mention a few in the last few years. The kind of participation that the city does through Ron and his folks, and how talented they are. They really are tremendously talented, tremendously dedicated. What a crew! It's wonderful. Thank you, Ron, and your entire crew. Yeah. I think it was Jeff. You said Jeff. His first name is Jeff. What? Delano? For the grass?
Bruce Delano.
Bruce
Delano.
I want to thank Bruce as well, because anyone who lives in this city, anyone who is a resident of the city that does that kind of work, participates actively in making something better and making something happen, and they're not waiting for a check at the end of that project or at the end of that work. We should thank them every opportunity that we have. So Bruce, thanks again as well for your participation. Again, my constituents, those folks from downtown, in Ward 4, from the South End, from the West End, from South Central, they are tremendously grateful for activities of this, for projects of this nature. Green space is very important, as Chris said. Urban parks, or parks, are really the heart and soul of a city, where it improves the quality of life, and really makes people have a whole different image of their own city. And as the mayor said, when the visitor comes and or a family member comes and visits us in the city, we have places to take them besides a strip mall. A place that they can enjoy, they can see where the city is going, and why we all love to live in this great city of New Bedford. So on behalf of all those folks, without them I wouldn't be able to be here speaking today. And I know if they all could be here, all 42,000 of them, they would be here to say thank you to all of you. So thank you again, and let's enjoy it.
Now, State Representative Paul SCHMID. Paul?
Thank you very much. It's really a honor to be here and be part of what I think is a historic event. Thank you very much, Mayor Mitchell, for including me, and more importantly, for your leadership in creating this space. And thank you, Tony, for your leadership as chair of the Gateway City Caucus. It is thanks to your leadership that we're able to have the fund that allows this park, as well as many other Gateway City initiatives. Mayor, you were right. The Post Office Square, which is a park in Boston that we drive very closely by on our way to the State House, comes to my mind too. And I've had occasion to see how that has become a magnet for people, and also a magnet for development and improvement in that neighborhood to Boston. Also, what comes to my mind is the green space in front of Trinity Church in Newport. And I recall that several years ago, people in Newport got together and raised $250,000 in order to be able to attract the services of landscape architect Maya Lin. And so they have a beautiful green space now in Newport, and we have a beautiful green space here in New Bedford. And frankly, I'll take our Chris Reed over their Maya Lin any day of the week. Thank you very much. Thank you.
This park would not have been possible either without the strong support of the City Council, and I'm pleased that when put to a vote, a few months back that the City Council warmly embraced the project and its funding. And so I'm pleased to be joined here today with by City Council President Bruce Duarte, along with City Councilor at Large David Alves, Ward 1 Councilor Jim Oliveira, and I think I saw Ward 6 Councilor Joe Lopes in the crowd a moment ago, but I would ask City Council President Bruce Duarte to come up and say a few words on behalf of the council. Bruce.
So this is an amazing place. You know, I can tell you, you know, I too, during the summer months, the dog days of summer, if you will, rode by and watched our city workers in 95-degree weather, when it seemed like it was 100% humidity, working to make this a reality. And for me, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank each and every single one of them for this beautiful park and everything that they do, not just here, but throughout our city every single day. I'd like to give them an applause. You know, Mr. Reed, Chris, you know, your parents must be extremely proud of you. You've done a tremendous job for our city, and I want to thank you personally on behalf of the City Council for what you've given us, this gift, if you will, to the residents of this city. We thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. You know, this is a collaboration, and we thank all the partners, whether it's the city planner Jill, Ron LaBelle and his team, and all the city workers. This is certainly something that we're all going to enjoy for years to come. I am so proud, not only this, but it's just another piece of the puzzle, if you will. This is another great thing, not only in our downtown, but in our city. You know, we look at the Route 18 project, this project, and the many other things that are going on. It just adds to the value of our city. I am so proud to represent this area, this ward where this park is, Ward 4. But more than that, I'm proud to be a citizen of this city, and I want to thank everyone who came out to dedicate this park today. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Bruce. Tonight is AHA Night, the second Thursday of the month, and as you can see, there's a lot of great stuff going on. Those people over there are paid to stand still. As they made like they're standing still for free. I don't know if Mary Poppins is charging us tonight, but everybody say hi to Mary Poppins too. To close the program, I wanted to ask Lee Hill, the director of AHA, to come up and say a few words about how this park fits into the downtown programming and the rising level of activity in the downtown, but also to talk a little bit about AHA tonight. Lee?
Okay, great, thanks. Thank you. You've all been so oh, yes, there I am. Hello. You've all been so very patient, and I kind of want to do it's a quote from the National Endowment for the Arts, because one of the things that this does with and for New Bedford is it really places us in the context of a huge movement in creative placemaking. So here's the great quote, and then you can go out and enjoy AHA Night, okay? In creative placemaking, partners from the public, private, nonprofit, and community sectors strategically shape the physical and social character of a neighborhood, a town, a tribe, a city, or region around arts and culture activities. Creative placemaking animates public and private spaces, rejuvenates streets and streetscapes, improves local business viability and public safety, and brings diverse people together to celebrate, inspire, and be inspired. So we think it's totally appropriate that you chose to unveil Custom House Square on an AHA Night, because for 15 years, AHA Nights have really played a part in creating a platform in New Bedford, which has become a very persuasive vision for an enhanced community livability, as well as a night of great fun. Our program committee looks forward to working with all of you to really make this space, the animated space that you see tonight, and to really do what we can to keep arts and culture and community at the core of this space. So thank you all. I think that you are done, that you are dismissed, and you should go off and have a great time at AHA tonight. The theme is It Came From a Book. There are great programs over there, and the night is young. We're here until 7 o'clock, and then we're all over town in different places. So thank you all, and thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Lee.
Good job.
Enjoy the park, everybody. Enjoy your park, everybody.